Hi guys, my name is Isa. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about detachment. What exactly is detachment and how to detach? Let's get started. As always, I got my notes. In order for us to understand what detachment is, we also have to understand what attachment is and how it looks like. You've probably heard about attachment theory, which is basically how humans form bonds with certain people. Usually, a child forms a bond with their caregiver, and it's a way for them to manage stress, fear, and uncertainty. As an adult, we tend to attach ourselves to people, objects, ideas, concepts, identities. Like, attachment can look so different depending on what you're attaching to. The one thing that attachment does have in common is that sensation of emotional desperation. So, for example, if you're someone who has anxious attachment, you probably feel a lot of anxiety, fear, and uncertainty when the person that you're talking to and that you're attached to is not answering your messages. That sensation that you feel, that's like, I need them to answer me. I need them to answer me so I know that everything is okay. That is exactly the kind of emotional desperation that detachment wants to get rid of. Now, if you don't relate to anxious attachment, I'll give you a different example on how attachment can be with a concept. So, a great example for this would be attaching yourself to the idea that you have to look skinny or you have to be skinny in order to be loved or feel good about yourself. You're attaching your worth, your safety, and your certainty to one specific thing, which is being skinny, weighing a certain number, being a certain size, looking a certain way, and therefore you feel this need, not even a desire. You feel like you have to lose weight. And not only is something you feel like you need to do, it literally haunts you. It's food noise, it's comparison every time you look at someone else, it's hating your reflection, it's feeling guilty after eating. Like, attachment is that emotional desperation regarding something or someone. Feeling like you need that person, you need that thing. And until I was able to understand what attachment does to you as a person, I was able to understand what detachment is. I always thought detachment was not caring. Why would I be in a relationship with someone I don't care? Why would I be friends with someone I don't care? Why would I try and achieve a body if I don't care? What exactly is the point of detachment? And I'm gonna be super honest, most of the times where I really tried to detach was regarding a guy. So every time I talked with a guy, I started thinking, I want him to be my boyfriend. He is going to be my boyfriend. And I just made up in my mind that my boyfriend had to be him. When you attach yourself to something or someone, you are energetically chasing it because you have a lack mindset. Like, you literally feel like you need them. You need that. You're energetically chasing something or someone. And every single time that I've seen content about detachment and what exactly detachment is, they really encourage you to detach in order to get that one person or that one job or that one identity to chase you instead of you chasing them. So you should detach in order to get that relationship faster, in order to get that job faster, in order to get that body faster. That is the wrong approach on detachment, because detachment shouldn't be done for the other person or the other object or a concept. It should be done for yourself. Until you understand what detachment really is, you can't really have the right approach and you can't fully achieve detachment. I'll be giving you 3 different scenarios that you can relate to and kind of like understand how attachment plays a role in your life and how it would be different with detachment. Scenario number 1, you like someone, and I'm going to assume this is a person that you don't know, but this can apply to someone you're currently talking to, okay? But let's say I see a guy and I like him. I think he's cute. I think he would make a really good boyfriend. Like, he has a really cute face and I want to have a cute boyfriend. Perfect. How does attachment look like in this scenario? The idea of him not being my boyfriend, him dating somebody else, or him rejecting me literally makes me so upset, breaks my heart. I need this person to be my boyfriend. Why? I don't know. I already decided he's going to be my boyfriend. The ideal scenario is me and this guy dating and it working out. But I want you to consider how many scenarios exist regarding me and this person, okay? Number 1, we never actually meet. There exists a possibility that we actually never cross paths. Exists a possibility that I reach out on a social media and he doesn't answer. We don't have any mutual friends and I never get the courage of talking to him and he never gets the courage or is not interested enough to talk to me. That's scenario number 1, we never meet. Scenario number 2, we do meet. You know, maybe we have a mutual friend or we're at a party and we get introduced, but he is not attracted to me. It literally dies down on the first conversation. Third scenario, we get introduced, we talk, we're starting to get to know each other, and I realize, you know what, he is actually not the kind of person I want to date. We have nothing in common. I think I just find him cute. There's no substance in our conversations. We don't end up dating. Another scenario, we get introduced, we like each other, and then he tells me he has commitment issues. Obviously, he's not going to tell me directly that he has commitment issues, but he tells me, I'm not looking for anything serious. Let's just go with the flow. Let's just be friends with benefits. Let's have a situationship. Boom. I don't get what I want. That's not a relationship. Another scenario, we talk, we like each other, we start dating, and he cheats. Or something happens and it's not the happy relationship that I thought it would be. Think about it. Out of all of those scenarios, I'm literally just happy with one scenario. I'm just happy with the scenario where we like each other and we start dating and we date for a long time and it's a healthy relationship. But what about the other scenarios? What will happen if we actually never meet? I will be sad. What's going to happen if we meet and he's not interested in me? Like he doesn't think I'm attractive or he has a girlfriend or whatever. I'm gonna be sad. What happens if we meet and he tells me he wants a situationship? I'm gonna crash out. So every single scenario that is not him and me dating is going to make me upset. And just thinking about it makes me upset because I already made up in my mind that we are going to date. Do you think that it is fair to do that to myself? Because think about it. The only way that I'm going to be happy is if I end up dating this guy. I cannot control that. You know what I can control? I can control how many times I talk to him. Like, I can control if I reach out to him, how many times I text him. I can control how many dates I go to from the ones that I'm invited, or how many dates I invite him to. I can control how many red flags I ignore in order to make our relationship come true. I can control my reactions. Anything that happens through me is something I can control. I cannot control if he finds me attractive. I cannot control if he is looking for a relationship. I cannot control if he has commitment issues or not. I cannot control if he has a girlfriend. I cannot control if he is romantic with me or not. Anything that has to do with him and things that he thinks, creates, or do, I cannot control that. The only scenario that makes me happy is on his hands. I want you to think about that. The one scenario that I'm happy with depends on what he wants and what he can give and what he's looking for. Meaning that I will only be happy if he reads the script from my mind. You know, if he is exactly who I want him to be, that's the only way I'm going to be happy. Of course, I'm going to be anxious. And you know what? Thinking of me not being in a relationship makes me anxious, but even being in that relationship would still make me anxious because clearly my happiness is on his hands. My happiness is on the hands of a guy who can change his mind, who can decide, yeah, I'm gonna date her for a while, but I'm not gonna marry her. And you know what? There's no one to blame but me. Nobody asked me to attach myself to an idea of us dating. Nobody asked me to put my happiness in his hands. Nobody asked me to do any of that. Out of so many scenarios that can happen, I'm only happy with one scenario, and every other scenario will make me upset, will make me feel devastated, will make me feel like love is not meant for me. And when you understand what it means to be in that situation, when you reflect on your life and your relationship or the person that you're talking with, and you realize, I'm attached to us dating, I'm attached to us getting married, and if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna be devastated. Until you truly reflect on that, you're going to understand why detachment is necessary. Detachment in this scenario is not caring about this person or not wanting a relationship or not wanting to be with this person. It's about being okay with that relationship not happening. It's learning to find peace and maybe even happiness in every other scenario, even if it's not your ideal scenario. So, for example, learning to be happy with the scenario of me and the guy never meeting. Learning to be happy with the scenario of me and the guy and him not being interested in me. Me being happy with the scenario where we talk and we get to know each other, but he ends up telling me he doesn't want something serious. Am I asking you to settle? No. You know, being happy doesn't mean, okay, you don't want what I want, so I'm just gonna settle for what you want. No, that's not what detachment is. You know, detachment is, okay, you don't want what I want. It's okay, because I don't need this. I don't need it to be with you. If you're not looking for the same things that I'm looking for, We don't need to be together. My happiness, my self-concept, my security does not come from me being with you. So if you don't want something serious, I'm gonna step away, because if it's not with you, it's with somebody else. And that's where we see the abundance mindset. You know that you're okay. You know that you're going to be okay regardless of what happens, regardless if it's a scenario 1, 2, 3, or maybe 5. You are going to be okay in every single scenario. And when you truly understand that, when you truly believe that you're going to be okay without this person, that you're going to be happy without this person, that you're going to be thriving even if you're not with this person, that's when you can fully detach, because you know you don't need this person. You don't need someone to date you. You don't need someone to ask you to be their girlfriend. You don't need to be with someone for you to be happy. And we see this lack mindset a lot in people who are just going through breakups. I've heard a lot of people who go through breakups go like, I'm never gonna find someone. That's how I know you were attached to that person. Because thinking that you're never going to be in love again just because this one person broke up with you, that is lack mindset. If one person isn't for you, why wouldn't any of the other 7 billion people in the whole world be for you? If you have an abundance mindset, if you detach from that specific person, then you know it can be this person or it can literally be anybody else. With whoever I end up with, I'm gonna be happy. Second scenario, a job. It's the same thing. For example, let's say that you're looking for a job and you've been applying for a few months and you finally get one interview. Out of all of the jobs that you've applied to, only one company calls you for an interview, and you get attached to that company. You get attached to that job position and you start thinking, they need to hire me. Like, they need to hire me. I'm not gonna be able to pay rent. I'm not gonna be able to buy food for the rest of the month. They need to hire me. If not, I'm going to be hungry for the next few months. I'm going to be homeless for the next few months. They need, like, I need this. And you feel this intense inspiration of, I need this job. I need the money from this job. I guess for this situation, there wouldn't be like multiple scenarios, but think about it. You're probably not the only person who's applying to this job, meaning that it's between you and like 20 other people, or honestly 100 other people. What are the odds that you're actually going to get it? If this job is not meant for you, you're not going to get the job. So when you don't get the job, you're going to feel defeated. You're going to feel like a failure. You're going to feel like no one's gonna hire you. Just because this one specific job didn't call you back, no one's gonna hire you. And it just feels like your world is coming down. If you're living paycheck after paycheck, if you truly need that money, that specific desperation for that specific job, that's the attachment. So why is detachment necessary in this scenario? First of all, you have to understand, just because you attach yourself to something or to someone doesn't mean that it's going to be yours. Doesn't mean that's the solution to all of your problems. So attaching yourself to something or to someone won't make them want you, won't make them get closer with you, won't make them call you back. It just means you're stressed because you feel like you need that and you depend on that. The sun is like super bright. Detachment is necessary in this situation because it will allow you to live your life, or at least during your job search, stress-free. If you're detached, you're going to think, they called me for an interview and I'm going to give my best interview. And if they don't call me back, I know that I'm going to get another job in another company and it's going to be better for me. When you truly believe that you're going to be okay, when you truly believe that you don't depend on one specific thing, if one thing doesn't work out, another one works out. If one door closes, another one opens. You do have the option to spend your job search stress-free or stressed. If you want to be stressed, attach yourself to one specific outcome, to one specific job, to one specific path on how to get things. If you want to be stress-free, understand and truly start to believe that you don't need this one specific company to call you back. You don't need them, because you will find the job that you need. You will be okay. You will get the help. Because let's be honest, looking for a job is already stressful enough. Do you really have to stress yourself way more, telling yourself, I'm a failure, nobody's gonna call me back, I really needed that one job that didn't call me back? Like, your happiness, your safety, your security, you're placing it in one specific job, in one specific place. I'll give you an example. Last year, I was working a retail job and I loved my job, but I just knew deep inside it wasn't the place for me. It was getting very toxic. My coworkers were just not it. I love some of my coworkers. Other coworkers were just not that nice. But I started looking for a job within the mall and I applied to Pandora. I was super excited on Pandora. I gave my resume. I was super confident. I went to Marshall's and I bought black outfits because you need to wear black in Pandora. and I didn't get a call back. And I remember I was devastated. I truly didn't understand why they didn't call me back because I had the retail experience. I was very confused, and I saw the people who they hired instead of me, and I just couldn't understand. What did they have that I didn't have? I started feeling very anxious because I don't have a better job. I don't have a job that pays me well. I don't have a job where I feel comfortable in, and I don't have the luxury to just quit my job so I can be stress free while I'm looking for another job. Like I needed to be in my old job while looking for a new job. Fast forward, I applied to this one company where I'm currently working in, which I'm not gonna say the name, but I applied there. When I tell you I was super detached because I didn't think they were gonna call me back. At that point, I was just applying to every single position I could find, and I saw that and I applied, and I was like, that is a luxury brand. Like, I don't think they're going to call me back. 2 weeks later, I got an interview, and then I think it was a week or 2 weeks after my interview, I got the job. I am so happy. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how happy I am with my new job. I love everything about my new job. I love my coworkers. I love the outfits I wear to work. I love the company I work in. If I would have gotten Pandora, I would have never applied to the job that I have right now, which makes me very happy. I just think like I spent so many months stressing over finding a job and thinking like I have to find the job, I have to find the job, and just thinking my safety and my security, both financially and like physically, depended on me getting one specific job, which I didn't end up getting. It's insane because if I had truly detached from my job search and what the outcome would be, I would have just spent probably, I think I spent like 8 months. I would have spent 8 months just like giving out my resume, stress free, and then just boom, I get my job. It sounds super simple, and I think it is simple. It's just hard to put into practice when you get a lot of reminders that make you anxious. But okay, let's move on to the last scenario, which is getting attached to a concept. A little bit of a trauma dump. I grew up with an almond parent, which is basically someone who's obsessed with diet culture and body appearance and exercise. And he forced me into a diet when I was really young. I think I was in a very strict diet for like 4 years. And then after that, I would just like put myself into diets because I truly felt like I needed to lose weight. Keep in mind, I was probably weighing like 110 pounds when all of this was happening. Like I was extremely skinny. I started feeling guilty after eating. I started getting food noise. I literally became obsessed with food and obsessed with the idea of being skinny. And since then, I've been wanting to lose weight. I think I've spent over 11 years wanting to lose weight. And not only is it me wanting to lose weight, it's me attaching myself to being skinny. I literally feel an urgency. I feel urgent. I feel like I have to lose weight. I have to lose 20 pounds. Oh my gosh. The sun is just like on my face. I literally feel this urgency to lose weight. I have to lose 30 pounds right now. I have to be my skinniest self. I need to hide my body if I don't look a certain way. And I just became so attached to being skinny because I thought that is the only way where I can feel good about myself. That is the only way where people are going to accept me and people are going to want me and desire me. And if I'm not skinny, I'm going to get judged. If I'm not skinny, I'm going to get rejected. So I was so attached to the idea of being skinny to the point where I was literally miserable for so many years, obsessing over food, obsessing over calories, obsessing over exercise, over my body. If you want to hear more about that, I do have episodes on my podcast, so just check out my channel. But it was until this summer. I'm literally 23 years old. It was until last summer, like summer 2025, that I was able to fully detach from the idea of being skinny. And how did that happen? Great question. I remember I wanted to get a dress and I had to buy a large. And I thought, do I really need a large or can I get a medium because I'm gonna lose weight and then the medium will fit better when I lose weight? And I was just like super stressed. And this is something that has happened to me literally since I was able to start buying my own clothes, just thinking, should I buy the size that fits me right now or should I buy a smaller size for when I lose weight? And I just started reflecting on that and thinking, I don't like my body. I feel huge. I feel like I need to hide my body. I don't feel confident enough to wear that dress out. And it was a dress that I loved. Like I tried it on and I felt so good. And I was like, why would I buy a medium so that I can wear when I lose weight if I feel so good with the large one? Like if I buy the large one, I'm going to feel so good about myself right now. It's just that idea of I can only feel good about myself if I look a certain way, if I weigh a certain number, if I'm a certain size. And I realized I am not my beauty standard. Like I don't know who my beauty standard is. Someone with a different body shape, someone with a different height, someone with a different ethnicity, someone who looks so different than me? Why am I putting someone who does not look like me as my beauty standard? That's just punishment. Like, I'm literally just punishing myself. There's no way that I can change my body type, no way that I can change my height, no way that I can change my ethnicity to look like who I think is beautiful. And that's when I realized I can choose myself as my beauty standard. I don't have to lose weight in order to be my own beauty standard. I can just be my beauty standard right now. You know, why am I waiting to look a certain way to feel good about myself? I deserve to feel good about myself right now. Even if I don't weigh 115 pounds, after all those years that I've spent hating on myself and my reflection, I deserve to feel good about myself. I really do. And even if you personally haven't spent so many years hating on yourself, you deserve to feel good about yourself, regardless of how you look like, regardless of how much you weigh or how your clothes fit. Like, you deserve to feel good about yourself for the mere reason that you are you and it is your life. Why would you go through life choosing to not feel good about yourself? Why would you go through life choosing to hate yourself? So I decided to become my beauty standard, and I'm gonna be super honest, that was probably the hardest decision I have ever taken, because the moment that I thought about it, I was like, but I'm not a beauty standard. Like, I don't think anybody else will choose me as a beauty standard. So if I choose myself as a beauty standard and I stop urging myself to lose weight, I stop hiding my body, people are going to reject me and they're going to tell me I'm ugly and they're going to point out like my insecurities, because it's obvious for everyone. Even while I was getting all of those thoughts, I was just telling myself, I don't care. I am my beauty standard. And I must have repeated that like 1,000 times, because a few weeks later, I started feeling more comfortable with my body. And even with the same weight that I had during that time, I stopped feeling huge. I stopped feeling like I needed to hide my body. I'm not a size 4. I'm not a size 2. Like, I definitely don't look the way that I wanted to look like when I was attached to the idea of being skinny. But I've detached from that idea that I was able to achieve everything that I wanted to achieve through attachment. So, in other words, through detachment, I was able to feel good about myself. I was able to stop the food noise, stop feeling guilty after eating, to like my reflection when I see myself in the mirror, to stop having that urgency to hide my body or lose weight. And it's so crazy for me because I spent so many years super stressed about my weight and desperately wanting to lose weight, and I would never see any weight loss. And if I saw weight loss, I would just like gain it back later on. But right now, I don't care how I look like. Obviously, I'm not glorifying not caring about your body, but I don't feel like I have to change my body. I don't feel like I have to in order to be safe, in order to like myself. I no longer feel like that. And I've been losing weight without even trying. I think that's what people mean when they say once you detach, you're going to get what you want, because you stop chasing it energetically. You stop thinking, I need that, I need this, I need this. Like, you go from a lack mindset to an abundance mindset. You go from uncertainty on what's around you to certainty that you can trust yourself and you can trust God or the universe. You go from no longer needing something because you already know that you have or will get everything that you need or you want. That is why detachment is important. Not because you want something to happen faster, not because you want someone to date you, not because you want to look a certain way. Detachment is important because it allows you to enjoy life while you're achieving something. I'm able to enjoy myself while I'm losing weight instead of I'm only able to enjoy myself once I lose weight. I'm able to enjoy every experience I have with every single guy, even if it doesn't end up being the romantic relationship that I expected. Why? Because I know that if it doesn't work with one guy, it will work with someone else. And this is the approach I want to encourage you to have when you detach from something. Because you deserve to feel good about yourself and you deserve to live stress free. You deserve to enjoy every connection you're exploring. You know, when you realize you actually do have a choice over how you react to things, how you perceive things, how stressed you are to certain situations, how happy you can be, how devastated you can be, you're going to take smarter decisions. You're going to take things off their pedestal because you don't need anything. You need to realize you don't need anything. Before I end the video, before I forget, how do you actually detach? I'll try to give you steps on like each of the scenarios I mentioned. So number one, the scenario where you really want to date this one specific person. I want you to write down every single scenario you can think about. You guys not meeting each other, him rejecting you, you not liking him anymore, him not wanting something serious. Like, I want you to think of every possible scenario and then ask yourself, how do I feel if this were to happen? Oh, I feel sad with the idea that he rejected me. Why would I feel sad? Why does his rejection make me feel sad? Oh, because I wanted a relationship with him. Did I really want a relationship with him, or did I just want a relationship? Would I be happy if I had a relationship where I was respected, spoiled, treated as a princess, even if it's someone else? Would I still be happy? Yeah, I would be happy with a relationship like that. Do I think I cannot have a relationship if it's not with this person? What if I end up dating someone else who makes me happier? You need to do that for every single scenario and actually show yourself how you're okay in each of those scenarios. And once you fully believe that you're okay with you guys not meeting each other, with him not being interested, with you not wanting something with him anymore, when you realize that you're going to be okay in each of those, that's the moment where you will fully detach from the idea of dating this person, because now you know, I don't need to date this person. It would be nice. I would really like that. But I know if it's not this person, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to end up dating someone else. I'll be getting the treatment that I want. I will be in a happy relationship. Okay, next scenario, getting a job. Same thing. Think about all the different scenarios that can happen with you getting a job or you not getting a job. You get an interview, but you don't get the job, and then your next interview is in 3 months. What are you going to do in that situation? Or you've applied to all of those jobs and you don't get any interview for the next 5 months. What are you going to do in this situation? How are you going to prepare yourself? Because if you just keep telling yourself, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get the job, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get the money, of course you're going to be scared. I'm scared for you. If you don't know what you're going to do, that's just a huge question mark, and that just gives you a sensation of loss of control. You obviously cannot control that. You obviously don't even know what to do. Of course you're going to be scared. So ask yourself, what am I going to do if I don't find the job in the next 3 months, in the next 5 months, in the next 8 months? What can I do? What are my resources? What can I do to get some income, even if it's not a full-time job? Think about what you can do in every scenario and point out how you can be okay in every scenario. Also, where else can you apply? Who can you talk to from your friends that can lead you to a job? Think about all the possibilities that can happen, even if you don't get this one specific job, and you're going to realize, I'm okay. A lot of people spend months before finding a job, and I just want you to think about that. Just because one company does not call you back doesn't mean you're never gonna get a call back. Doesn't mean you're never gonna get a job. And then on the last scenario, when it's attachment to a concept, it being skinny, or I guess it can be different for anybody, but for the sake of the example, being skinny, what would happen if I accept myself at my current weight? Why does that scare me? Why do I feel like people are going to reject me? Do I really need everyone to accept me? Who are the ones who are accepting me in my current weight? Who are the people who want to date me? Who are the people who want to be my friends? There must be at least one person. And if you're not able to find anybody who wants to date you or anybody who wants to be your friend, why don't you ask yourself, how can I become that person for myself? How can I become the person who wants to spend time with me? How can I become the person who feels attracted when they see themselves in the mirror? How can you make your current circumstance something where you feel safe in? Because you don't need it to look a certain way to feel safe. It's all about the mindset. I'm just like a few pounds less than what I was weighing during the summer, but I started feeling safe even before I started losing weight. Why? Because I changed my mindset. What is the worst thing that can happen if I accept myself? What is the best thing that can happen if I accept myself? What happens if I'm not able to lose all the weight that I want to lose by the end of the year? What happens if it takes me a whole year to lose 30 pounds? Truly, what's going to happen if you take a whole year to lose weight? What's the worst thing that can happen? You're not gonna find a date? And that's not even a bad thing, because first of all, you shouldn't date someone if you don't love yourself, because that's going to lead you to accepting disrespect and ignoring red flags. Second, you don't want to be with someone who values you for your body. You want to be with someone who values you for your values, your discipline, your motivation, do you want to date someone who's so vain that they just care about the physical, or do you want to date someone who falls for you because of who you are, because of all of your goals, because of what you're willing to do for yourself? Like, I promise you, you don't need a relationship to be happy. Like, you're gonna see people in relationships that are very unhappy. What's the worst thing that can happen if you take a little longer than you want to lose weight? The only answer I could come up with was, I'm gonna feel uncomfortable and most of my closet is not going to fit. But that's about it. That's what I could come up with. I've surrounded myself with people who don't judge me for how I look like. I have dated guys who don't care if I've gained weight or not. My mom and my sister, not my dad, but my mom and my sister, like, they value me for who I am and not my body. Like, they don't criticize me for my body as my dad did. Honestly, the worst thing that will happen if I take a little bit longer than what I want to lose weight, it's just that I have to sit with the discomfort. I'm not less of a person. I'm not less of a woman. I'm not less deserving of love or value or worth. At the end of the day, you just have to realize, and obviously this sounds way more simple than actually putting into practice, but you have to think about, I don't need this. I'm okay without it. I don't need this. I promise you, if there's one thing that you need, is God. If there's one thing that you need and you don't believe in God, is probably self-trust, self-love. But you don't need something external. You don't need someone to validate you. You don't need to look a certain way to feel good about yourself. You don't need a job to be successful. And that is why detachment is important. And that's the right approach to detachment. And that's how to detach. I have recorded this video like 4 or 5 times. Why? Because detachment is such a big topic, and I just wanted to be sure that I'm able to word everything in a way that you could understand, in a way that I could understand. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if there's any specific topics you want me to talk about. Also, if you like my makeup and you think it's cute and you think my lip combo eats, check out my channel because I do have makeup tutorials, and check out my nails. I did them. I did this. Super cute. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today.